Hello and welcome to Just One Look, and today I'm having a look at EVE Online. So, a few days ago, the new expansion Ascension released, and that brought us basically free to play. Now, to be free to play, you have something called an alpha clone. The VIP is called an omega clone. So if you've played before and you're not paying and you're free to play, your skills which are not included with the alpha clone will be disabled, and you will only get the same as every other alpha player. Although if you've trained them, you will of course have already got them. So anyway, I'm going to start at the top here and work my way down. And I'll go over the differences between the alpha and omega clones as I get to the relevant sections. So here we have the character sheet, and we have our skills. And you can have augmentations, you've got your attributes which affect your training, biography, which I haven't got for this character, ranks, medals, etc. Interactions, that's like kill rights and various stand-ins, pilot license, which is Plex, which is something you can buy in-game for your subscription. They're very expensive at the minute. We've got skins and history. So this character is on my alt account, and he was basically a industry character. And his skills generally reflect that. I thought, yes, production, science. And you can see here, I click on spaceship commands, that shows the spaceships skills I have trained. And as a Caldari race, I can use these Caldari skills as a alpha free-to-play clone. So all I can use is Caldari Industrial at level 1. So the higher the level, the more benefit you get from the skill. And Caldari Frigate. If I go to Engineering, there's quite a few skills you can still get. There is a large variety. But a lot of the time you won't be able to fully put them up to level 5 and get the greatest benefit, although most of the time with skills you want to keep them about 4 because the training time for higher level is extremely long for level 5s. Sometimes you need level 5 to go up to the next tier of skills in that line. So if we train, what can we train? We can electronic upgrades, so we'll add that to our training queue. So we're now training that. Whether we're online or offline, that will continue training. Now it used to be the case that even if you didn't have a subscription that would continue all the time, but they stopped that. I assume now free to play that is just going to go on forever. But as an alpha you can only queue skills up to train for up to 24 hours, you can see here. Let's get rid of that. Now if you have a full account, an omega clone, you can train unlimited virtually amounts there and go on forever. You can train all the skills, etc. And you train faster. So I've got some unallocated skill points, probably because of changes. That's my corp, that's my race, Caldari, bloodline and ancestry. Doesn't really make a lot of difference. Anybody can fly any ship in the game with an omega clone. It's just the alpha clones which are restricted by the skills you can train and therefore fly the appropriate ships for those skills. So as you can see, even this alt account was from 2003. I played this for many years. Now this is the inventory out in space. You of course only have your drone bay if your ship has one, and your ship inventory. So Great Maker's Ibis, I have in my inventory just these minerals which I use for making new items. Now as we're docked up, we've got a ship hangar and an item hangar which I have nothing. Corporation deliveries, which I don't have anything at the minute. Then we have mail, no, we have people and places. So these are basically bookmarks you can make, and the location of people like agents. They're my personal locations, which are probably all useless now, sort of for various mining spots and other things. all out of date. Corporation locations, these are for the agents, which give you missions. You see there's 2 over here. Agent missions, I'm not on any at the minute. So these, the first agents which will be available to you will be in your... I'm not sure if they actually have to be your race, but there will be level 1s. So this is security, and the security agent will give you kill missions. You can start a conversation, take a mission, go out and kill somebody. There's mining mission and trade missions. Now she's offered that. I can forget about that for the minute. Doing those missions earns you reputation, which gets you loyalty points, and then you can buy things. So different corporations, race, governments have different rewards to buy. So guests, people all docked up, offices. You can rent an office for your corporation, but you don't really need to know about that. And so we have mail, so from various people, corporation, bills, etc, etc. Then we have ship fitting. You can see this in space, but you can't actually do anything. So if I open my inventory, you can drag things onto the correct spots. And my item hanger, I do not have. There we are. So you have your modules in your hanger or in your inventory if you're docked, I believe, and you can just drag them into the appropriate slot. So you have high slots, medium slots and low slots. The highs are generally for weapons, the middle for electronic warfare, propulsion and shields, the bottom armor, armor repairers, inventory expanders and things like that. You can see you can right click on virtually everything, get info on it, whether it's a planet or a module. So here we have fitting, high power requires a high power slot, CPU usage, which is this bar. Once that fills up for this ship, that's all you can use. So different ships have different amounts, of course, different amounts of slots, different shields, etc, etc. And power grid is the lower one. So these of course can be increased by modules to make your fitting work. It's very, very variable indeed. So I haven't got any other modules to put in on this. This is just a basic ship or corvette, which is basically the starter ship now. Well, they didn't used to be called corvettes. And then on to the regional market where you buy and sell. So this is set to the regional market, which is the greatest amount you can search at one time. You can also search individual systems or stations. Just click on the item, you'll see a price. You can view details. Make sure you get the cheapest one, or if you're selling, you can see what the prices are selling for in this region. Then we have industry, where you can research blueprints, which you can then use to build virtually everything in game. We have fleet, which is sort of your basic groups. And we have the map. Now, see, we've got the different regions named on this. You can change all these, what shows here completely. I'll just leave it on this for now. So if we go out, we'll see in the center we've got ISEC space. So this is from 0.5 up to 1. And this is the safest area. It's not completely safe. You can still be suicide ganked and various other things, or declared war on if you're in a corp. Then around the fringes you've got low sec, which is from 0.1 up to 0.4. Now this is probably the most dangerous place in EVE. Particularly there's some gateway systems you have to go through to get to nullsec out here, the 00. So most of this is player owned. There are a few NPC regions, like Syndicate here. They tend to be next to the low sec. And out here is where all the corps and all the main news comes from in EVE. Now actually, if you're in a large corporation or alliance, etc., who have a large bit of space out here, it's actually pretty safe. I've mined and ratted, and with my main character, never died. Now another character on this account died once, but that's my only casualty in nullsec out of actual fleet combat. If you're sensible, it's very, very difficult to die. So you can set this up to see where things are being destroyed, where people are being podded, etc, etc. But you can just play with that. So here we have the ship tree. So this is new since I last played. You can see here, let me scroll out a bit, no. Above this, you can only fly these ships if you have an Omega clone. Or state apparently. So what you can fly is the corvettes, which are the starter ships you'll get when you start. Shuttles, which are just quick transport things. Then we have the frigates, destroyers and cruisers. Everything else is locked off. So you can see each frigate has these bonuses. What these bonuses are dictate what sort of ship this is used for. So we've got a Kestrel, light missile and rocket damage, so you use obviously missiles and rockets generally, and it's a combat frigate. So we've got Erin here, which has bonuses to core and scanner probe and salvager and relic and data analyzer, so that means you can use it for salvaging and basically scanning and exploration, which are these relic and data analyzer things at the bottom. It's actually got 3 bonuses, so it's not really suited for combat, but you can use any ship for and fit any weapon to it if it fits. So for example, most cruiser weapons have too much CPU and grid requirements to actually fit into a frigate, but apart from that, the type you can actually use in any ship. You just don't get the bonuses. So destroyers are basically anti-frigate ships, or they were meant to be. And then if you're an alpha clone, where you want to be is with the cruisers. Excuse me. So we have the Moa, which is basically a tanky cruiser. We have the Carousel, which uses missiles still. The Osprey, which is a repair ship. And the Blackbird, which is an electronic warfare ship and always used to be a very popular and very good. And the Tier 2 in particular as well used to be very common at one point. At least the Falcon, I think. Not so sure these days. So up here you also have some Navy variants. These are basically ones you can get with loyalty points if you do enough rep grinding and do missions. They tend to be quite expensive, but they're a bit better. They often had, well, they used to have something like a extra slot, mid slot or something like that, and be just generally a bit better. So because I have Caldari, I get this selection. If I'm Amar, I get the Amar ships. So these are all race specific, but if you train the skills as an Omega clone, you can fly any ship. There are no restrictions. The only restrictions comes from these free-to-play clones. So you only get your race's selection of these basic ships to fly. So the cruisers and frigates, and destroyers for that matter, are all useful ships and can do lots of things. You are restricted somewhat, but they do have their uses. If you know what you're doing with them, you can do a lot. But anyway. So that's the ship tree. Personal assets. So this is the stuff that's in my hangars in various places over the universe. I've got some shuttles there. There's not a lot. Snowballs. For some reason I've got Warrior 2s there. Not sure why this character would have them. Don't think he's got that trained at all. So then we have wallets. I've got my personal wallet, we've got a corporation wallet. Yeah, we've got 109,000, it's more than expected. I've completed an opportunity, so I've got a reward, which I'll get to in a minute. How do we collect that? Anyway, so we have journal. Basically this will be where your missions and various other things are. If you have a mission here, read details, you can lock the location probably from here. if you accept it. Got help. Now we've got the opportunities map. I believe this is the new player tutorial. Basically, sort of like mini missions you do, and you'll get little rewards, etc. So know what I've done. Welcome to New Eden. Obviously done that. Start skill training. Did I get that reward? I'm not sure. Go to my wallet. And transactions. Yes, of course, that's a transaction. That's what I've got. Okay. So if you're new to the game, it's obviously well worth doing that. So help, project discovery, which I won't go into, and station services. So every station have various different services. So loyalty point store, which I said if you do missions for agents, you will get rep for that faction, that corporation, and then you can use loyalty points in that faction's or corporation's store and buy various things. So show affordable only, show all. You can see here we've got a Brutix Navy issue, so that's a battle cruiser, and that's the Navy version. Down here we've got a skill you can get. So we have here ship insurance. You can insure ships, so you get money back when they're destroyed. It's not so good as it used to be, I don't think. Factional warfare, which is sort of a bit like training warfare in Empire, a bit like Red and Blue, but with 4 factions. So it's basically PvP. It's got the bounty office. You can set bounties on your enemies or anybody really, I think. Industry, exactly the same as the one down here. Fit in, market. You've got the reprocessing plant. So pretty much any item in the game can be reprocessed and broken down to minerals. And there's skills which you can improve the amount you get from that. So repair. On this, doesn't need repairing, apparently so. Character customization. Been flagged for resculpting. Okay, I'll do that for the minute. Because it's an old character and I haven't done this yet with it. So I haven't used this account for quite a few years. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, please. So it's very different to what they used to be. We've got captain's quarters here. Again, it's a fairly new thing. Don't really think it does a lot. It's just load up. Eventually. You can see here as well we have an agents tab where who give you the missions, guests, which are people docked up in this station, and offices. Corporations have offices and you can apply to join there. And they can also have hangars in this station, so they can store a lot of stuff there. Oh, that looks a bit weird. I don't think that's... I think I need to work on that. But anyway. Can you run? So I have never really used this. It's quite recent, so it wasn't here most of the time I've been playing. There's various things in here. You can buy stuff. Oh, was he? Yep, the lighting's fixed itself for the minute. Now, I don't think you ever need to go in here. You can buy stuff to decorate it. There's ship hangar, agent finder. It's nice, but I don't really know that it's very useful. Right, I think we've done everything in here. So up here we have some more things. Basically the same things, just a different menu. Let's undock. And hopefully this time it'll work, 'cause when I tried yesterday to do this video, going out to the station did not make the game happy. The recording software happy, rather. So here we are in a lovely space outside of this space station. So these opportunities seem to slow things down when they pop. So this is my Ibis rubber ship. We've got the basic Gatling railgun, which is short range. Then we've got a mining laser. We also have an Afterburner to make us go faster for a short period. So these all use cap. There's some weapons don't use cap. Most modules do, but some don't. So we can just spin around, etc. Now, to actually move about, you don't click anywhere here, although you can if we find a convenient symbol. So the blue here is a sentry gun, so we can right click, we can approach, we can orbit, keep in range. If it was further away, we'd be able to warp to it at various distances. Ah, here we are. We've got a Stargate there. We can warp to naught. Let's do that.
Warp drive active.
So Stargates are how you move between systems. And in system, you warp about. Then when you're at your location, say the asteroid belt, you just move under a normal power, I don't know what to call it, but just down here, normal sort of speeds. So these Stargates are varying distances away. This might be quite a near one. Let's have a look. No. Now, to actually move about, what you normally do is use this here. You can have different tabs to show different things. So this is a general one showing Stargates, planets, not sure what that is, Citadel, more Stargates. Let's move over here a bit. So all this can be customized. You can put what you want to see here. So for combat you tend to have a particular one for different ships, for example. And then if you're in a fleet, the flight leader will say target so and so, you'll find him on the list, it'll normally be near the top, and you'll target him from here. You don't actually search around in space generally, that's really not the best thing to do. So, we have various things. We want to go back to the station. Is here and here. So if you want to jump, just right click on things. So we've got a billboard up there, and jump, which I'm not going to do. You can add it as a waypoint, what you click on. And as I say, everything's configurable by the player. So I can remove stations from overview. That will remove all of them, and I don't want to do that. So we have here various asteroid belts. So these are the first places you'll look for pirates when you start. So let's warp to 20. You never want to warp to naught or asteroid belts because you can get stuck in the middle of the asteroids, which can be rather annoying if you want to get away from pirates quickly. So up here we've got the system, region, etc. We have the political owner, which is the Galanti Federation here. We have a route. If you set a route on the map, it'll show up here. Let me just do that actually. Actually, let's not use the map. Let's go to my assets, right click, set destination. So you can see here the different colours. Each square's a different system, and the colours denote the security of that system. So yellow's 0.5, so you don't want to go in any lower. At least not on autopilot anyway. So you can see these red, which aren't shown up. Oh, they are. Right, so I'm going to remove Feldspar, remove Scordite. These are the different asteroid types. I'm going to lock onto the pirates, which are the red, if I can find them. Because my overview is not set up properly, it's a bit difficult, so I'm going to orbit at 2,500 meters. So where am I? I'm there. So I'm targeting him, just put the gun on him. So that's why you have these different overviews. So these are, when you've got so much stuff, it's hard to find what you want. So if you're ratting, you probably just want only ships on here. And in 0-0, you particularly want to have unfriendly ships show up as soon as possible. So we're actually orbiting this very weak scout. He's basically in another starter ship. So this is an NPC. we're basically going around him, and because we're going around and moving so fast, his guns can't track us very well and hit us. You see, we're taking very little damage. So different guns and things have different capabilities. If he had missiles, for example, it wouldn't be quite so efficient doing this. And it just depends on the different weapon types, of which there's quite a few. So I'm going to orbit this one again at that range. Fire. Let's have a look at the gun. So it has accuracy fall off 2,000 meters, but we're not doing too bad. Turret tracking, rate of fire, etc. Optimal range 5,760. So actually, let's go out to 5,000. See how that works. I'm not actually firing at it. So the tighter you orbit, the more your bleed speed, and of course different ships could go faster and turn tighter. So you have to learn your ship a bit and learn your weapons and what's best. So I can probably actually put the Afterburner on. If you watch this, we'll see if I'm bleeding speed because of the turns, and it looks like I am. So that the Afterburner's... Oh no, am I hitting an asteroid? Yeah, that's a problem. But that stops me from moving so much and I'll be hit. But you don't want to fight in asteroid belts, basically. I'm still surprised just how well this single gun does against even these rubbish ones, but never mind. So let's have a look at this. It's a Velita, which is the Galanti Corvette starter ship. It's just as bad as ours. See the guns animating. Still a very pretty game, and they have updated it somewhat. It still runs well on still has quite low system requirements. So they actually have damage as well. That's new for me. Okay, so he's going to be dead in a minute. So we get a little bounty. Let's just go to our wallet. Transactions, let's load. No transactions found. Journal. Did we actually not get any bounties because that didn't flash? Perhaps they're too low level. Right, let's go to the nearest wreck. So these are the symbols for the wreck. So you can see these two are empty and this one's got a square in, which means it's got some loot in. So we're going to approach that. Use the Afterburner. Okay, were they really worth no bounty at all? Anyway, right, so we can right click on here again. Now we get open cargo and metal scraps, basically useless. So drag those into our cargo, which is there. Go our 1 tritanium. So basically you can let these go to reprocessing and you'll just get a bit of tritanium from them. Not worth a lot at all. You can also, if you've got a salvager, salvage the wrecks. You get various other things which are used in manufacturing, or you can reprocess. So everything pretty much can be salvaged from a wreck. I'm not going to do that now. So what else have we got? Let's turn off the Afterburner. So here we have your shields, you have the armor, and the bottom one is hull. So it's theoretically possible to hull tank, but I don't think anybody ever does, and hull repairers are generally useless. But here we have our speed. So these are the high slots, these are the medium slots, and we'll have low slots down here. And these are currently look like they're set up to only show ones which can be activated. So a lot of modules are passive, and you don't need to click on them or do anything. Obviously guns, you do. So down here we have tactical overlay, scanners. I haven't actually got any probes or anything, so I can't do that very well. Or did they? Anyway, I'm not too sure about that these days. They have changed it a few times. First person camera. That's new. You can also overload these rows, the high slots, medium and low. That causes them to overheat and it can damage them. You can get things to stop it, you get skills to make that better. I'm not sure you get those on the Alpha clone though. So that's the combat. You can also, let's go to mining, and lock onto an asteroid. Let's go to distance, lock onto this one. So the mining laser also has a range, can't remember which, 10 kilometers. So all you do with the mining laser, select an asteroid, let's go to that one, and start mining. You can see this line going round, that's how long it takes to mine one lot of minerals. So there we are, we've got some rich plagioglass. Plagioglass, I don't know. Never heard anybody pronounce it, anyway. So different asteroids have different things to mine. So you can process these and they produce, does it show? Yes. So from this I'll get these minerals which are used to then build things. So the prices vary, it's all a player run market pretty much. I'm not sure what's the best at the minute. We've got quite a bit of inventory. 120 meters square, 25 rather. We're not really going to make any money with this little ship doing this. Let's zoom out. Right, let's go back to a station. So we can just click on dock and we'll warp and dock straight away.
Active. Autopilot engaged. Autopilot disabled.
Not sure how to get out of this view, which is getting annoying. Orbit camera, there we are. Obvious. I think that's about it really for the basics. There is an awful lot more. We also have the chat down here. People in local will show up here. At least in normal space. Worm space is a bit different. And again, right click on things and you get menus, show info, place bounty, etc, etc. Lots of little things. We've got notifications here. They seem rather unnecessary. Now here you have the target, which you've probably noticed already. You have various things you can do. But generally the overview, probably the most important thing. It shows you where everything is and it's how you navigate generally. But mine at the minute aren't really set up very well. And I think that's about it for the basics. Really not that complicated to get going. There is an awful lot more to it though if you want. So, thank you for watching, and bye bye for now, and I'll see you again next time.